All Things Are Possible, inspired by Neville Goddard, written and published by Audible Aria. Sometimes it all boils down to just one thing. When I interact with people, I often encounter those who dismiss the idea of achieving the extraordinary. Despite witnessing miracles in various situations, they respond with skepticism, saying, "That's not going to happen." Even when faced with undeniable possibilities, they limit themselves to a narrow reality. It's essential to grasp that the key to unlocking limitless potential lies in the belief that anything is possible right now. Many successful individuals attribute their achievements to this empowering mindset. Take a moment to observe the most accomplished people around you. Their magnificent belief system centers on the conviction that anything is achievable. Every day, we witness individuals from diverse backgrounds, social groups, and beginnings reaching greatness at various stages of life, be it at 60, 50, or 70 years old. The core message remains: anything is possible, and this truth applies to every aspect of our lives. At times, we find ourselves at a point where we feel like giving up, thinking that only a limited set of things is possible. Various traditions explore this idea, like reality transurfing, which talks about the space of variations. In Neville Goddard's lecture titled "All Things Are Possible," he kicks off by referring to passages in the Bible that emphasize the possibility of all things through belief. In the 9th chapter of the book of Mark, it's stated, "All things are possible to him who believes," and in the 19th chapter of the book of Matthew it says, "With God, all things are possible." Neville connects these passages to the idea that just like God, the believer, that's you and me sitting here, can make anything possible through belief. While we may firmly believe in our identity as men or women and our current existence, Neville urges us to stretch our belief beyond the boundaries set by reason and our senses. He suggests that we don't have to limit our belief to what seems reasonable to our minds. The power of belief is within our control, and we can choose to go beyond what our reasonable minds dictate. Neville emphasizes that everything exists in the human imagination, and our beliefs stem from this imaginative realm. If we want to go beyond the limits set by reason, we must tap into our imagination, where all possibilities already exist. At any given moment, we have the ability to transcend the boundaries imposed by our reason and senses. There's been a recent commotion in the Christian community about small symbols that people have made and worshipped for a really long time, like 1,000 years. In the 115th Psalm of the Bible, these symbols are called idols, and it describes them as things made of silver and gold by human hands. The psalm says that these idols have eyes but can't see, mouths that don't speak, ears that don't hear, hands that can't feel, and feet that don't walk. It also mentions that there's no sound in their throats. The psalm adds that those who make and trust in these idols become like them. A short newspaper story about a famous actor who had a car accident while riding in his fancy Ferrari. Thankfully, he wasn't seriously hurt, and he believed his luck was because of a small symbol he called St. Christopher. The interesting thing is, he is just like the person who made and sold that symbol, but he doesn't realize it. The message here is not to judge someone based on their fancy possessions. People get those things because they believe in them, not realizing that the real power behind it all is within themselves. The actor thought his little gold symbol saved him from a deadly accident, but in reality, it was his strong belief in it that made the difference. He bought and believed in the symbol because he doesn't know where to place his trust. The lesson from this story is that anything is possible for someone who truly believes. The idea is that God and the believer are essentially one. It's not about the physical symbols or possessions. It's about understanding the power within ourselves and placing our trust in the right place. As you leave tonight, think about how you expect your home to be right where you left it. When you go to sleep, you trust that you'll wake up in your bed tomorrow morning. You also have faith in your clothes. What I want to share with you is that your ability to believe is connected to your human imagination, which is like a god. the only God, in fact. Your imagination is incredibly powerful, but sometimes we limit it by focusing too much on our bodies, senses, and reason. Your reason might tell you that you're in this room and you have a certain amount of money, and you can only get more if you physically work for it. But let's be honest, wouldn't you wish to have more without putting in all that effort? Imagine your wish coming true, not just in your thoughts, but in the way you feel it. When you genuinely feel that your wish is real, that's called faith. And when you have faith, you believe in the reality of your wish, knowing that anything is possible if you truly believe in it. Now, here's an interesting idea. Can you convince yourself that even if your reason and senses disagree, your belief and assumption can make things happen? The poet William Blake, in his Marriage of Heaven and Hell, once wondered if having a strong belief in something could actually make it true. He talked about dining with prophets like Isaiah and Ezekiel, who believed that a strong persuasion could move mountains during ages of imagination. So, the power of your belief and imagination might be much more influential than you think. Many people nowadays struggle to firmly believe in anything. However, it's essential to recognize that everything around us, like the building you're in, the clothes you're wearing, or the car you drive, all started as desires that someone believed in. For example, if you look at me, Neville, I'm here because someone desired and believed in my existence. The key is to understand that your desires can become reality if you truly believe in them. Consider this. There are people out there, maybe even someone like me, who can help you achieve what you desire, especially if you genuinely believe it's possible. You don't necessarily need to convince others to assist you. Instead, focus on believing that you already possess what you want to be. Trust that the world, essentially an extension of yourself, will work to make your belief a reality. It might sound simple, but the power lies in your belief. I assure you that if you persist in believing, your desires will come true because, as the saying goes, all things are possible for someone who truly believes. So embrace your desires, have faith in them, and watch the world around you come together to fulfill what you believe in. Neville Goddard does talk about a similar idea. In this specific instance, he mentions that the world is essentially an extension of yourself being projected outward. So, if you consider yourself as God, then the entire world is like a reflection of your own self because you are God. It's important to clarify that this doesn't necessarily mean what some people commonly interpret it as. I'm still in the process of learning more about this concept before forming my own judgment. Through various interviews with individuals who follow Neville's teachings, it's evident that there are diverse beliefs surrounding the idea of everyone is you pushed out. This notion is quite popular on the internet. To be clear, in this context, it suggests that the world is a manifestation of your inner self. Neville promises that if you hold on to your desires and truly believe in them, they will come true because, as he puts it, all things are possible for those who have faith. As I continue to explore and learn more, I'll provide a comprehensive understanding of this idea. The famous poet Robert Frost once said, "Our founding fathers did not believe in the future, they believed the future." What he meant is that our country's founders didn't just hope things would turn out the way they wanted. They actively believed in and shaped the future they desired. The power to believe in something is a strong force within you. When our founding fathers envisioned a country with democracy instead of a monarchy, they didn't just sit back and wait for it to happen. They knew they had to take action, so they believed in it with all their might. Through faith, they made their desire a reality. Let's imagine you want to be in New York right now, but you lack the time or money for the journey. What can you do? Instead of focusing on your current situation, you can mentally make your desire a reality. This is like what our founding fathers did. They subjectively appropriated their objective hope. In simpler terms, they believed in their dream and worked towards making it come true. Imagine this. Tonight, as you lay in bed, envision yourself sleeping in New York. Even though you may wake up physically in Idaho the next morning, Neville Goddard suggests that changes are occurring while you sleep that will eventually lead you to make the journey to New York. It's like mentally preparing for something that will manifest in the physical world. Neville shares this idea from personal experience and even mentioned it during in one of his interviews. He advises a simple yet powerful technique. When you think of the place you want to be while falling asleep, briefly imagine its location from your home. For example, if you're in Hawaii, think about where California is. This technique can bring about positive changes in your life. It's crucial to grasp Neville's perspective on belief. It's not just about thinking something will happen, it's about truly believing it's happening. According to him, with this profound belief, all things become possible. So as you apply these techniques before bedtime, it can lead to beneficial changes in your life. Remember, with faith, anything is achievable, and as Neville puts it, with God, all things are possible. People generally believe that God created the world and everything in it. However, what's interesting is that they don't often connect God with themselves, the ones who believe in Him. In the Bible, it actually links God, who is considered the creator of everything, with the believer. The important point here is that belief doesn't have to be limited to what we see or understand through our senses and reason. In our everyday lives, we rely on external sources like candles, lamps, or electricity to light our way in the world. But there's a deeper idea here. According to the Bible, there will come a time when you'll turn inward and realize that you are the light of the world. In simpler terms, you'll discover that you are a source of infinite love, infinite power, and infinite wisdom, just like God. This shift in perspective suggests that the light you seek externally is, in fact, within you. It's a realization that you are connected to the divine and possess qualities that go beyond what external sources can provide. So, as you continue your journey, remember that the light you're searching for might be closer than you think, within yourself. As you break through the limits set by your reason and senses, you'll find yourself expanding into new states. I encourage you to take a closer look at yourself. Are you firmly holding on to the state you wish to experience? Consider this a challenge. Examine your beliefs and desires. In doing so, you're not just testing yourself, you're also testing the power and wisdom within you, often referred to as Christ. Don't worry. Testing this inner power won't cost you anything. Give it a try. According to what we're told, our imagination communicates with us through dreams, revealing insights about ourselves. An older man in the dream shared a significant insight. He mentioned how his father used to stand on an empty lot saying, "I remember when this was just an empty lot," and then vividly described the building he wanted to see there, as if it already existed. The dream then shifted, and I witnessed the building standing complete and real, where only moments before was an empty lot. The grandfather, now alongside his son and grandsons, remarked, "I remember when this was an empty lot." The dream provided a powerful illustration of the creative power of imagination and belief. I learned a fantastic lesson from this dream. In the dream, I played the roles of the grandfather, the son, and the grandson. Now, it's my responsibility to pass on this valuable knowledge to future generations. The dream revealed that even when you find yourself in a difficult or barren situation, you can change it by saying, "I remember when this was barren." By saying this, you're suggesting that the situation has transformed. To transform nothing into something, you start with ideas and imagination. Initially, it may seem like these concepts are intangible, not like a physical object you can touch. However, the power of ideas and imagination lies in their ability to become real in your mind even before they materialize. The first step is to imagine the possibilities. Podcasts, seminars, sermons, songs, and testimonials serve the purpose of opening our minds to what could be possible. The second step is to believe that what you imagine is possible for you. This belief is reinforced by the testimonials of others who have achieved similar feats and by our own past successes. Faith plays a crucial role in this second step. Faith is described as a substance, not exactly tangible like a podium, but a powerful force that bridges the gap between imagination and reality. It's the ability to believe in the possibilities and make them real. Now, the last part of turning nothing into something. It requires disciplined activity. Faith alone without action serves no useful purpose. However, when you invest your faith into disciplined activity, you create reality. This understanding led me to believe in the possibility of building a successful career, maintaining good health, and nurturing meaningful relationships. In essence, the journey from nothing to something involves imagining the possibilities, believing that those possibilities are attainable, and then taking disciplined actions to turn those possibilities into reality. Once you recognize the change, use your inner senses: sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, to mentally experience and inhabit the improved state. Trust that this internal transformation will eventually manifest externally. It's a powerful practice that can make a significant difference in your life. I want to emphasize that it doesn't matter what you currently have or who you are in the world. The key is to believe, as everything becomes possible when you truly believe in it. Some people may believe in saints or icons for guidance, but it's crucial to understand that these external symbols may not hold the same significance now. Instead, the focus should shift towards believing in oneself. The power to change and achieve lies within you, and that belief in yourself can lead to incredible possibilities. This idea has been around for a really long time, over 1,000 years. For a while, people believed some things that, looking back, seem kind of silly. Like there was a time when folks thought you had to cover your head to go inside a church. But was it ever really necessary? Not really. And remember St. Christopher, the saint people used to believe in for protection during travels? Turns out that wasn't necessary either. But here's the thing. Back in the day, people had a hard time believing in themselves. They were kind of like children in that sense. So to cope, they created things with their own hands to believe in, and surprisingly, their belief actually made things happen. It's like this. Those icons or symbols didn't have some magical power on their own. It was the person's belief in them that made a difference. This whole idea boils down to a saying, all things are possible to him who believes. And when you add God to the mix, it's like saying everything is possible with that belief. It kind of makes you wonder, isn't God connected to the believer? God's forever name is I am. Think about it. When you say your name, like I am John or I am Neville, you have to be aware of it first. It's like you're saying, I am aware that I am Sam or Neville. Even if I don't always say I am before my name Neville, I'm still aware of being Neville. It's like I've given a name to my awareness, and that name is Neville. I don't have to keep saying I am to know who I am, but my awareness is like God, the believer. And there's no other God in this understanding. It's kind of deep, but it's like saying your awareness is connected to something powerful within you. Everything, not just the good stuff, but everything, exists in our imagination. It's not just about positive things. Even the not-so-great stuff is there. Take a look at this quote from the 32nd chapter of the book of Deuteronomy. See, even I am he, and there is no God beside me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal, and no one can deliver out of my hand. Who can kill but God? It might sound intense, but it's basically saying that your imagination has this incredible power. It can bring things to life or make them go away. It can hurt or heal. No one can escape its influence. It's like your imagination is a God in its own way. Here's the thing, while you're sitting right here, you have this ability to believe. You might believe in something that seems kind of silly, but guess what? Your belief has this magical power to make things happen. So you see, the real power lies within your own wonderful imagination. It's like your own personal superhero, capable of creating and changing things just by what you believe in. It's a pretty cool superpower that we all have. The one I'm talking about as God is actually your own powerful self, kind of like your own superhero. It's like you have this mighty force within you that serves your wishes. This inner power doesn't really care whether your intentions are good or not. It just follows your lead, almost like your own personal assistant. Here's how it works. This inner force creates pictures in your mind, like images of good or bad things, making them feel real to you. It lets you imagine whatever you want, and then it puts those images on a kind of big screen in your mind, so you can experience them. It's like watching a movie of your own making. The interesting part is, you can get so caught up in these mental movies that you might not even realize when the initial idea was planted in your mind. It's almost like planting a seed and then forgetting about it until the harvest time. The real you, the one deep down, is like the God mentioned in holy writings. Your incredible human imagination is what makes it all happen. It's a pretty cool way to think about your own inner abilities, don't you think? Notice how Neville always emphasizes your own wonderful human imagination. It's like he's saying, hey, it's not just any imagination, it's your amazing imagination. Let's dive into what he's talking about. Can you leave here tonight truly believing that you are already what you want to be? And not just that. Are you ready to embrace both the joys and challenges that come with it? Neville explains that this belief, this deep sense of being what you desire, is like having faith. And he adds, without faith, it's pretty tough to make things happen. Here's a cool example he gives. When he leaves the building tonight, he'll ride home with a friend. As they drive, they'll see familiar streets and objects because they're using their sight to navigate. But here's the twist. When Neville walks by faith, it's like he's taking invisible steps. It's not about what he sees. It's about the strong belief in his fulfilled desire. It reminds me of what Paul said. Instead of relying on what we see, we're encouraged to trust in something deeper, to walk by faith. We all know what it's like to walk relying on our eyes. But Neville is challenging us to break free from that and start walking with a strong belief in what we desire. It's like trusting in something beyond what our eyes can see. Pretty cool, right? You have the potential to be anything you want to be because the person who believes and the God of the universe are essentially one. It's like they're a team. So don't separate yourself from God, who is essentially your I amness, or that inner voice that believes in your I amness. If you disconnect from this connection, fulfilling your desires might be a bit tricky. The key is to start assuming, meaning really believing, that you are already the person you want to become. It might sound straightforward, but I won't say it's a walk in the park. However, as you practice this belief, it does get easier over time. Here's a little analogy to help you get it. Imagine giving a Stradivarius, a super fancy piano, to someone who's mastered the art of playing it. They could bring immense joy to those around them. Now hand that same piano to someone who can't play it, and it might become a source of chaos, even driving people crazy. It's the exact same piano, but one person brings harmony and the other brings discord. Now apply this idea to your own wonderful human imagination. It has the power to create both positive and not so great things. It's like learning to play an instrument. We're all here in this world, kind of like a classroom of sorts, trying to figure out how to play this amazing instrument, which is essentially tapping into the power of God within us. It's a journey of learning and discovery in a world that sometimes feels a bit confusing, but has incredible potential. If you can't think of anyone who would give you $5,000 right now, here's a thought. If you truly believe that anything is possible with God, and you understand that God is essentially your own amazing imagination, you can try imagining that you already have the money. Stick with that belief, keep at it, and somehow you might just end up having it. The how part is a bit mysterious, I'll admit. I can't explain it, but what I do know is that what happens in your life often aligns with what you truly believe. So the question is, do you truly believe that anything is possible with God? And can you grasp the idea that your incredible human imagination is, in a way, that very God? It's like unlocking the potential within yourself by having faith in what you can imagine. Understanding that God is all about love, and yet you can imagine things that aren't so loving, you might doubt that your imagination is God. However, consider this. If that doubt is true, it means God isn't all-powerful. Think about it. If you can imagine something that even God can't, then you're surpassing God. It's like saying you have abilities beyond God's reach. Now, if God can only produce harmonious outcomes, and you can create both harmonious and discordant situations, it implies you have a greater range because you can do something that God supposedly can't. Here's the scoop. Your amazing human imagination has the power to create and also to change things. It can bring things to life, even those you might not want. In the process, you might end up causing harm to yourself, but the good news is that what you create in your imagination, you can also uncreate. It's a learning process, and sure, there might be some pretty big blunders along the way, but the key is that everything can eventually be sorted out. It's like navigating through the learning curve and discovering that even when things go south, you have the power to turn them around. Be kind to yourself and don't beat yourself up for anything you've done, are doing, or might do. It's like learning to play this incredible instrument, which is both God and your own fantastic imagination. Trust me, there's no other creative power like it. Picture this. When my tailor makes my suits, he doesn't just start cutting the fabric randomly. He first imagines how the suit should look, then brings it to life. Even when I'm at the barber, the stylist envisions what my hair should look like rather than just cutting randomly. It's like everything has to be imagined first before it becomes a real thing, and that ability to imagine is what we call God. Now, here's the interesting part. You can't see imagination the way you see things around you, like this room we're in. The room was once just an idea before it became real. But the creative power behind it, your imagination, isn't something you can observe like an object in space. You are the reality that we call imagination. You can see the things created like this room, but you, as the creator, aren't seen. It's like you won't fully realize that you are this incredible creative force until David, who is often referred to as God's only son, stands before you and calls you Father. The places we are in, like this auditorium or hotel, were once just ideas in someone's imagination. Imagination is like a starting point, the genesis of creating something out of nothing. It's not tangible yet, but it's the first step in the process. Here's a crucial point. Start building your imagined success as soon as you believe it's possible. But remember, you shouldn't start until you have a clear plan, a finished idea. Finish it in your mind first, then start building. It might seem paradoxical, but it's about being prepared before taking action. The formula for success involves imagination, faith, and labor. Imagination starts the process, faith makes it possible, and labor turns it into reality. Add discipline to the mix, discipline. It turns wisdom and faith into reality. A few simple disciplines practiced every day lead to success. Discipline is the muscle behind the labor of turning imagination and faith into something tangible. And you become a miracle worker, creating success, relationships, and a fortune. So don't just dream. Work hard, believe in yourself, and turn your imagination into a tangible reality. Not everyone is ready for this knowledge because some people prefer sticking to their familiar beliefs, even if they're just little icons. But the truth is, you have this amazing creative power within you, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. It's like unlocking your potential as the creator of your own reality. Remember, not everyone might share these beliefs because, well, anything is possible. The concept here aligns with the idea of shaping our own reality. Think of it as catching the trend of these thoughts. If you believe you can create your own reality, it adds a layer to our understanding, suggesting that we might possess some extra power. It's like opening up to the possibility that we can influence our surroundings and experiences in ways that go beyond the ordinary. Neville suggests that it's high time for people to stop relying on external things and start putting their faith in their human imagination. He encourages us to let go of these external symbols or icons. Remember that saying about not making any graven images or having other gods? It's like a call to shift our belief from external things to our own inner power. Even if you think you lack education, money, or a fancy social background, it might be tough to believe in yourself. But here's the deal. Because anything is possible for those who believe, and with God, all things are possible, you can step beyond what your senses tell you and start believing in things, bringing them into existence. It's like unlocking this ability to create and shape your reality. Challenge your imagination, and if it proves itself by producing results, why worry about what the world thinks? I've put my imagination to the test, discovered its power, and now I'm sharing my findings with someone named Philip, a symbol of the mind, a lover of learning about how the mind works. I tell Philip that I've found what Moses, the law, and the prophets spoke about, Jesus, the Messiah. I promise to guide him to this discovery. You're here because, like Philip, you're curious about understanding the mind and its functions. I can lead you to Jesus, not a visible figure, but a representation of your I amness. When you say, I am secure, I am wealthy, I am free, it may not align with your current sensory experiences. However, I'm simply asking you to utter these words. The moment you do, you're subjectively claiming security, wealth, and freedom. It's like tapping into a power within yourself, creating a mindset that opens the door to possibilities beyond what your senses might currently perceive. Imagine a door, and when you walk through it, act as if you are secure, wealthy, and free. When you go to sleep tonight, try to truly feel as if these things are already true for you. If you can manage that, your perspective on the world will shift when you wake up. Picture this. If someone handed you a check for $10,000 this morning, you'd be richer by that amount, right? Now, without waiting for someone to actually give you the money, go to bed tonight believing it's true. It's like putting your beliefs to a test, pushing them to the limits. If we say that all things are possible for God, and if the same is true for believers, can you fully embrace and believe in this possibility? It's about challenging your thoughts and seeing how much your beliefs can shape your reality. I want to make it clear that you might not achieve success on the first or even the second night. Our minds are used to accepting only what reason and our senses tell us. So it might be challenging, almost like it's impossible, to believe in something beyond that initial training. However, it is possible. At this very moment, you're acting out a role in your life. If you're not happy with it, the good news is you have the power to change it. Imagine playing the role of someone who is wealthier than you were just 20 hours ago. It's like stepping into a character, a role, and you get to decide which part you want to play. So, if you desire a different role, go ahead and embrace it. You have the ability to choose and shape the script of your life. Everything I'm sharing with you comes straight from the Bible. It says, I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand. I, even I, am He, and there is no God beside me. I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Saviour, and besides me there is no Saviour. These are powerful words from God as revealed through the prophets of old, and their prophecies find fulfillment in the New Testament. In the New Testament, it's emphasized, whatsoever you desire, believe you have received it, and you will. This is a straightforward instruction on how to apply these teachings from the Bible into your life. It's about anchoring your beliefs in the idea that if you truly believe you've received what you desire, it will come to fruition. It's like a practical guide on how to manifest your desires through faith. Persisting in an assumption, even if it initially seems false and contradicts your senses, can eventually become a reality. I want you to understand that you are God, and there is no other divine being. The essence within you is God. We are united because there is only one God. As time unfolds, you will come to realize that we are one, you and I, as you discover that you are the Father of my Son. In truth, it won't be the Son unveiling you as the Father, but rather you, the Father, revealing your own Son. Now let's take a moment to embrace silence. Here's another insightful lecture by Neville Goddard, and I know it might sound a bit repetitive, but trust me, the recurring themes in his talks are the ones that hold the most significance. They consistently revolve around the powerful notion that anything is possible. In this specific part of the lecture, he delves into the concept of unbelief. What caught my attention is his ingenious approach with the I remember when technique. By tapping into the part of your mind linked to memory, it kind of rewires your thinking. After all, we tend to believe what we remember, right? It's a remarkably clever technique. Furthermore, he touches upon the idea that the entire world is a reflection of you, pushed out. It's like suggesting that all the physical elements around you in this room are, in a sense, manifestations of your own inner world. It's a thought-provoking concept that adds another layer to the understanding of the power of our thoughts and beliefs. This lecture has a powerful lesson on prosperity. Neville emphasizes the notion that if you currently struggle to believe that someone could come and give you $5,000 or $10,000, that disbelief might be preventing it from happening. So the key is to change that belief. Start believing it's possible, and you might see it come true. It's not just about believing it will happen. Neville encourages us to immerse ourselves in the state of receiving it. Imagine the excitement and joy if someone were to give you $20,000. It's a thrilling thought that can bring a lot of joy. So, take a moment to truly feel and experience what it would be like to receive such a generous gift. It's a fun and uplifting exercise to engage in. Imagine this. You've got a check for $50,000, and you want to make sure it's not just a piece of paper, but something real, right? Once it's cleared, and you've got that $50,000 in your hands, what's next? Are there bills you've been stressing about that you can finally pay off? Maybe there's a dream trip you've been wanting to take or some special things you've been eyeing to buy. It's time to envision and plan. Take a moment to sit down and put yourself in the mindset as if you just received that $50,000. Picture it sitting pretty in your bank account after clearing. Now, let your mind wander through all the possibilities. The bills you can settle, the people you can help, or the exciting plans you can kickstart or continue. It's not just a mental exercise, it's a fun and uplifting way to explore the positive impact this imaginary windfall could have on your life. Let's dive a bit deeper into this imagination exercise. Close your eyes and feel where that excitement resonates in your body. Is it a flutter in your solar plexus or a warm sensation in your heart? Perhaps there's a hint of anticipation in your stomach. Take a moment to observe your breathing. Does the thought transport you to other memories that share a similar positive energy? Maybe you've experienced unexpected windfalls before, and it's bringing back those delightful feelings. Now, explore your mind for other instances where you were blessed with a substantial amount of cash out of the blue. Recall how you felt and what you did with it. These playful reflections can add a layer of joy to your imaginative exercise. Sure, these ideas have been circulating in the law of attraction community for quite some time, but Neville's approach hits differently. It goes beyond the surface and challenges the very core of our belief systems. The essence here is simple yet profound. If you truly believe in something, anything becomes possible. It's a powerful reminder to embrace the limitless potential that belief can unlock in our lives. I understand that some of you might be in a similar place right now. It's a tough spot to be in, and I empathize with your struggle. The feeling of disbelief can be overwhelming, pushing you to seek an escape. I've been through it, and I'm here to tell you that there is hope. Neville's wisdom echoes that sentiment. All things are possible. Imagine this, stroll as if you've just received a windfall of $50,000. Picture yourself heading to the mailbox, not just on a regular walk, but a walk fueled by the excitement of that unexpected wealth. Even when you sit down for dinner tonight, embrace the moment as if you've just secured $50,000 or whatever your heart desires. It's a fun and imaginative way to infuse positivity into your daily routine. I assure you, the results might not show up immediately, as Neville suggests. It might not even happen on the second day, but mark my words, it will manifest. The key lies in your assumption, a potent technique to break free from the limiting beliefs that constantly surround us. We can delve into various metaphysical concepts like reducing importance, dealing with pendulums, and explore numerous strategies. But at the core, none of it matters if the fundamental belief is lacking. While these metaphysical approaches hold immense potential, some struggle because deep down, they lack that essential belief. It's understandable. Believing in the unseen is no easy feat. We're conditioned to trust the tangible evidence, rooted in the scientific worldview we navigate daily. Changing such deeply ingrained beliefs can be challenging, yet the power lies in your assumption, bridging the subjective and physical worlds to bring your desired reality to life. I want to clarify that I'm not urging you to adopt a new belief system, and neither was Neville. His message is more about entering the state of wish fulfillment. It's not about instantly changing your beliefs, but about immersing yourself in a mental state where your desires are fulfilled. Surprisingly, it's easier than you might think to believe in something you initially doubted. Merely repeating affirmations won't cut it. You need to truly feel and believe in what you're affirming. It's a psychological technique detached from religious connotations. If the mention of the Bible triggers any discomfort, feel at ease. This is a simple and secular practice. People might try to complicate it, but fundamentally, all you need to do is assume the desired mental state. As time passes, you'll find that your belief in its reality naturally grows. This approach echoes the sentiment in the New Testament. Whatsoever you desire, believe you have received it, and you will. Thank you for listening.